Anthony Anderson calling Artemis II mission a waste of money is wild. Because let's be real, if Earth even sneezes in the wrong direction, he's going to be first in line with a helmet asking, "Where do I sign?" Yes. Anthony Anderson, the actor, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Calling Artemis 2 a waste of money, I think is outrageous. I have grown to be a gigantic fan over this past weekend, past week, past 10 days, however you want to call it, of the Artemis 2 crew.
hmm
I think that their speeches they had over this past
hmm
weekend after the landing was phenomenal. I was really tuned into how tough of a landing that was going to be and the perfect direction that they had to
hmm
have. The storylines of each and every one of them, literally, one of the guys naming his wife after a crater, with the recent loss. God,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, how do you not get teary-eyed just listening to some of
Yeah.
their storylines? Like, it's just literally a movie waiting to happen. And then just to know, they're going to the far side of the moon, how
hmm
fascinating that might be. Um, Phenomenal. It's
hmm
it's it's just been a hell of a weekend regarding that. And it's like, yeah, it's just you're kind of putting that to in this that mission altogether, if I'm not mistaken, John, is a predecessor to trying to develop some type of community on the moon, right? In
hmm
just kind of a research mission first, see if the vehicle works for
hmm
landing to start, having routine flights to and from the moon to create
Yeah.
a community, which sounds insane. But
Yeah.
by the time we're 70, I bet you it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I think that they have like a $20 billion budget for this thing now, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah. They have Artemis 3, I think, coming next year.
okay.
Artemis 4, I think I read like early 2028. And then Artemis 5, that's the one that's supposed to land on the moon, end of 2028. So
Badass.
that's the timeline they have. So it's they got the money and it's for a reason.
Yeah. And it's like, don't hate on it if it's going to maybe help us in the future. Like,
hmm
how long is we don't know. Nobody can predict the future. Like how long is Earth going to be habitable?
Yeah.
We have to start kind of thinking towards the future. We're a big aliens podcast, and we got to
Yes.
bring it back. Because honestly, ever since we did that episode, this is a bit of a sidetrack as we always do. I feel like just I don't know if it's just our algorithms of life.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's just so much more news about it,
hmm
and it's fascinating to where we've come up now. Now we can start looking at building civilizations
Yeah.
on the moon, which is badass. So yeah, it's one of those things where is Yellowstone going to implode? There's a lot of
hmm
conspiracies about that. Anybody can mention war, anybody, without getting political. It's like a bazillion different things could occur. It could be
hmm
we're seeing random asteroids that we're not
Yeah.
warned about, through the sky recently over Ohio. And it can happen in the spur of the moment. So I
Yeah.
think that this is smart stuff to do. I think as a United States taxpayer, I think I'd love my
hmm
dollars being put towards stuff like this. I think it's super cool. Because I think that's where it goes.
Yeah.
I think government money towards NASA and us doing scientific research is freaking sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, dude, like don't hate on it if it's going to be one of those things that could save your future generations and
Yeah.
create more possibilities.
Yeah, yeah, because the way I look at it is like this is an insurance plan for the world. What they're trying to do is trying to see if we could sustain life outside of planet Earth, maybe on the moon, maybe building a big old space station where that's our new life or that's our community is. Because like I say, we don't know what's going to happen with the planet. Asteroids are coming, hitting. We never know if there's going to be a big one that comes and, going to hit us. We don't know, that one comet that came, if that was aliens that passed by now in, 100 years are going to come trying to take over. It's like we need backup plans
Mhm.
for, if not us, our future generation of kids to be prepped and have a viable chance of surviving, and not just being a population that's fully destroyed. So, like I said, this isn't just NASA being like, "All right, we're just going to a moon piece. We're just here to take pictures. What's up?" There's science to all this. There's tech that they're developing, learning satellites, communication, how to do that, and it's not wasting money. I think it's investing in possible future. Because, like I say, if something happens, like I say, I'd want to be one of the first in lines to say, like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." If I knew that was the only way to survive and it was a viable way. And like I say, Anthony Anderson, I think would say the same thing. He's saying this now, but he's a celebrity. He has the money. He might be like, if it's like, hey, we got to go to space, it's the only way to survive. He's going to be first in line, trying to do whatever he can with his connections to get there, even though he's talking smack about it right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I see here that he's talking about, reverting funds and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And, that's where he thinks the money should go. Like, you could argue about that all day, every day. You could,
Yeah,
you could talk about quadrillion dollars within the US government of where
yeah,
you think it should go. But, you know, I think that this kind of stuff is one of the most worthy.
hmm
Like, I personally want to know what's going on out there. Like not from only a fascination standpoint,
Mm.
the curiosity of what's beyond, like,
Hmm.
is, we're both dads,
Yeah.
they're going to be around longer than us. Like,
Mhm.
I want to make sure that they're set up in a world that
Hmm.
is safe and, spending
Yeah.
money to research the surroundings.
Yeah.
If it's best, if you're stuck on a stranded island, I'm not going to stay on the beach. Like, I'm going to go. Is there
Explore.
coconuts in that tree over there? Is there,
Yeah.
am I going to be attacked by anacondas? Like,
Uh,
I'm going to go kind of look around a bit.
yep.
Like, dude, like, space ain't cheap. It's
Nope.
going to cost some money, especially nowadays. Gas prices.
Oh.
Probably off base. I
Yeah.
don't even know if we use gas or rockets. Not a rocket scientist here, but I think it's worth it.
Mhm.
Also, coinciding with this, Anthony Anderson, you're an actor. Just watched War Machine over this past weekend. Told you about it, John.
Yeah.
I thought it was a badass movie. I think it got 6.767 stars out of
Okay.
10
Not bad.
on Rotten Tomatoes. Not
Yeah.
bad for an action film. But it was about extraterrestrial life
Hmm.
coming to Earth and how are we going to combat it? Badass movie, badass plot line. Thought it
Hmm.
was worthy of some type of speculation.
Yeah.
We recently have people, politicians talking about extraterrestrial life. We have the army talking about it. Like, I think all this is worth it.
Mhm.
We talk about UFOs, we talk about sightings, we talk about like what are they visiting
Yeah.
for, ancient civilizations. You can go on and on and on. Like, dude, Anthony Anderson, just like sit down, you can join the pod.
Yeah.
First off, join the pod, take a listen. We'll talk a little bit more about it. We're kind of amateurs to the subject, but actually, no, we'll take a step up from that. We're semi-pro.
Yeah.
Um, with this information. But honestly, I feel like it's very worthy. I think it's fascinating. I think it's
Hmm.
well worth it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's great news. I think that the only bummer is that we're not going to see more of the astronauts in the news for a little bit because
Yeah.
they seem like honestly really cool people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they seem like real cool people. What they did was brave because, like I say, it's to help the science, help the technology get up to date. I will say I respect this one a lot more than that last Amazon shuttle that happened.
Hmm.
That one was more of a ploy. And like I say, if Anthony Anderson wants to talk smack about that one, I'm on your side. Because like I say, other than just going into space, there was no science behind it. There's no technology they're trying other than just sending some celebrities up there to come back, kiss the ground, do that stuff. But what they're doing here with NASA, it's more than just that. And like I say, if Anthony Anderson wants to start looking at where to cut funds, I'm a big advocate of the movies, artists, but man, some of these artists are getting paid so much money for some mediocre films. Start cutting there. Anthony Anderson, you're getting maybe $1 million for episode. Cut it down to 500K. Put that 500K to something more beneficial. But I think if you ask him that, he's gonna say no. So it's like this is the
Mhm.
greed of America of people at times, and it's like this NASA thing for me. It is an investment. It is insurance for us, for possibly not for us currently living within probably the next 100 years. But for our generations of families, our kids, their kids, and just going down the line, it could be something where we find another, galaxy and another planet that we could live, and we're gonna have to practice. They're gonna have to test out hyperbaric chambers where, and these, sleep chambers where people could sleep, travel for 100 years, and still wake up at the same age. Not age. It's going to be a lot. So, and like I say, even what telescopes do. I don't know. I think I sent it to you, Tim, but did you see the picture of the James Webb Space Telescope and how it captured the birth of a star?
I feel like I saw something on that,
Yeah.
but I don't think I caught the video you shared.
Well, it's just a picture, but the way that picture looks, how we were able to capture the birth of a star, it's beautiful, man. Just seeing that,
Hmm.
I was just like, that is so amazing. Seeing how a
Yeah.
star was born. I like I said, I haven't read into it too much, like how many galaxies away or how far, but I'm just like, man, just what it looks like. I'm like, it's a movie film, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, my son Theo, he's actually like really into planets. Like
Yeah,
like the stuff he fills me in on, like he'll talk
yeah,
about habitable planets, he'll talk about stars, what's the biggest star,
yeah.
and stuff like that is freaking awesome. And I think that just like how cool it is that all ages of humans like can be fascinated by
Hmm.
one common topic
Yeah,
about the same stuff. Like we all feel like kids about it. We all
yeah.
feel just how just fascinating it is. It's like it's the world. See, I don't know how you even want to say it. It's like the outer space unknown. Like it's just the unknown in general that we get to kind of observe and stuff that we
Hmm.
haven't seen before. Another cool thing, I'm gonna check that out because I don't feel like I watched it long enough
Hmm.
to even to it sounds fascinating. Like that
Hmm.
sounds super cool. But another cool thing that I saw was I don't know if you saw this one. I don't shame on me if I didn't share it. It was they were talking with the flight crew once they were kind of like on the far side of the moon, talking about confirmed hits from
Oh, okay.
asteroids that went to the
Oh,
moon. So the moon, we all see its massive craters. That's
hmm.
why, the joke about it being made of cheese.
Yeah.
It's I still think it's made of cheese, honestly. But it I think when they passed by, they saw like 4 or 5 confirmed hits just in
Dang.
that passing. So it's literally protecting us from a
Hmm.
lot of these maybe near misses,
Yeah.
no matter how big or small the asteroid is, it has a very worthy, job to
Purpose. Yeah.
planet Earth and
Hmm.
purpose, not only for, lunar stuff, the tides, things like that, but yeah, fascinating. And the first humans, right, to visit the far side of the
Hmm.
moon and lay
Yeah.
their own eyes on it, provided much more photos that we haven't seen before, the different depiction of it, the visuals. Like,
Hmm.
man, I can't imagine coming back to Earth having experienced something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just outrageous. And then I saw a video of one of the astronauts coming back, arriving into his neighborhood, and somebody in the comments brought up a great point of like, if that guy is a bar basement, like just having a few drinks with him and picking his brain
Oh, yeah.
about the stuff he saw would have been so cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, it would be just hanging out with them, bantering with them, and talking about their experience. Because, like I said, it's
Mhm.
something I think there's millions upon millions, not just here in the U.S., but across the entire, world and just, planet Earth that would want to experience that in their lifetime because it's a goal. Like I say, for me, I always say I would want to do it. I would rather do it with NASA than I would with Amazon or even Tesla at
Mm.
the moment. Tesla's getting up there, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I see all these rockets, I think it's his rockets that are getting blasted here, in
Yep.
SoCal. So it's like, okay, I see some accuracy. None of them have blown up, while we're watching it.
Mhm.
But like I say, NASA, it's something, if I could experience in my lifetime, it would be on that bucket list. And if I do it, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Super rad. Yeah. I think that the unknown of it, like just them having gone on this trip, the perfect like somebody described it as, you need 3 miracles to happen on a return to Earth. That would stress me out so
Oh yeah.
much. Like it's insane. They performed it perfectly though.
Yeah.
And then they learned something new each and every time. Of course, there's been very tragic and sad endings to previous missions, but
Hmm.
they've learned from each and every one of them.
Yeah.
It's gone a long way.
Yeah.
So um, I think that the money is all worth it. Anthony Anderson, absolutely love you in Malibu's Most Wanted. Phenomenal role in that film. Absolutely love you in C Spot Run. I think it's a very underrated role you had in that film, the breakdancing, and you did
Uh,
the backflip or front flip, landed on your ass and did that fart. Hilarious. Great role in that film as Benny. But yeah, I think that, and I understand where you want to repurpose money, and I get
mhm.
it. I just think that this money is worth it. And I
Yeah.
think it just the bigger picture, it's going to be not only a cool thing, it's going to be a necessary thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. That's a good take.